Hello and welcome to my kitchen. It is Wednesday, and so you know I'm coming to you with two healthy recipes. I am Julie Brinkley, otherwise known as Motivation with Brink, and I am thrilled to come to you every week with some different ways to look at healthy eating. Of course, as many of you know, I am a local weight loss and health coach. Help many clients reach their goal weight and have lifelong transformation. But here's the secret. You actually don't have to be on a plan to enjoy these recipes. So I know this because some of you I see in the grocery store and we're shopping together and you say, hey, I made that dish and we loved it. So shout out to those of you that are still using these recipes but you're living at a really healthy weight. Kudos to you. However, the wonderful thing about eating healthy is learning that it doesn't have to be torture, that it can be super fulfilling and actually indulgent in some ways. And so that's what I like best about my plan, is that I'm able to show people that making transformation, and yes, in the beginning time, having a little bit of restriction to get the weight off, but all the while learning how to cook just like this to really build up your menus and your nutrition in real life to continue on for the rest of your life. So I'm glad you're here. I have to say, last week, if you tuned in, I got cut off before I was able to say hashtag be nice. So I sure hope you were nice and I hope you had a great, successful week. We're coming back to you again. Now, I try to let you know like what my thought process is each week when I think about what am I going to cook live on Wednesday. Because you know what? In regular life, meaning all the other days of the week in the Brinkley house, we're just like you. We have our favorites. We do the easy breezy, quick meals. Lots of them are these 5-in-1 recipes. We eat out. We do all those things. So I have a draw this week to come to you to encourage you that these quick and easy kind of meals that you're used to going back to, I won't name any names, like some of the things we used to cook in my first 20 years of marriage would have been like chicken enchiladas with a can of cream of chicken soup, a can of cream of mushroom soup, sour cream, loaded with cheese, probably canned chicken, quick and easy casserole type things as a young growing family. Sometimes that's what we got to do to survive, right? Well, I'm going to show you a little bit of different things because today you are going to find a healthy alternative that's still quick and easy. This one's a zucchini pizza bake. So I'm super glad to show you this today. We're going to kind of go in reverse order because I want to go ahead and get the topping cooking. Now, as you can see on my cooktop, I've got 1 pound of a lean ground beef already browning up. It's just almost there, not quite. And I'm going to add to that 1 red bell pepper. Now, in this application, you know, I tell you every week, like when I cook with bell peppers, I give you my personal opinion. You know that doesn't really matter. It's whatever you want. However, I will tell you that I usually lean against the green bell peppers, but in this application, it does it says red bell pepper in the recipe, but I think this would be an okay place to put the green bell pepper. For one, it would give you some great color. Secondly, it kind of is reminiscent of what we get on a pizza. I don't actually get bell pepper on my pizza, but if you do, then green bell pepper is probably just fine. Of course, you can also sub in whatever bell pepper you have at your house. So we're gonna go ahead and get this, because I want this topping, basically the topping, needs to cook kind of together and render off some of the liquid from the tomatoes I'm gonna add. Now, you'll also notice on this recipe, we are using canned, diced tomatoes. And in the recipe, it calls for the Italian ones, of course, which that's going to provide us with those Italian flavors without having to add the extra seasonings or spices, which many of you come to me, my clients, and they're like, I don't cook that way. I don't have all of those things in my pantry. So here's a quick and easy. Now I will show you, this is just a store brand of, I think it's called Petite diced Italian style. So it's gonna have flavors of basil, garlic, and oregano in there. Would it be the end of the world if you don't have these and you use plain tomatoes and you add some seasoning? Sure. But I wanna tell you one thing, and I say this every single week, don't just go with your gut on the label. Really check the label. I did on these. Now I will also say, the supply chain, it is hitting home, hitting close to home. And a lot of brands weren't in stock with this type of thing. This is actually the store brand. And there was one more name brand in stock. I took a minute, looked at both labels. Guys, this one, no added sugar. Name brand, 1 gram added sugar. Is it gonna throw you completely off if you're not on plan and you're not worried about it? Sure, use whatever you got. It's not gonna matter. But if you were on 5-in-1, these are the little steps of health, the habits of health that we wanna build up. Not one thing goes in your cart that you don't know is the very best option for you to have. So, to our hamburger, actually I'm gonna go ahead and I'll cut up this. It's about a half of a normal size onion. Now you guys know I come to you a lot about onion, and most of the time I'm using green onion. If you're on plan, you know that regular yellow onion or a sweet onion, although super tasty when they caramelize, that caramelization when they heat up and cook is what turns to sugar in our body. So a green onion is gonna do that less. Of course, it's not the same flavor. Now I will tell you, this is a certified 5-in-1 recipe, but you will notice it's a very small amount. It's a 1/4 cup of chopped onion. Now, for plan purposes, I'll just tell you, we count that a little bit differently. It actually doesn't count as my vegetable. It's gonna count as a condiment. It's gonna be added in there, something extra, because we know that's giving you more than just the nutrients of a vegetable. It's giving you some extra sugar calories too. So that's 1/4 of a cup of chopped onion. I'm actually doubling this as I do many weeks. Main reason is because it's only 1/2 pound of hamburger. Now, if you're on plan and that's frustrating to you to have to cook 1/2 pound of hamburger, I recommend going ahead and browning the whole thing. Reserve half of it, put it back, because probably there'll be another recipe. You can use that 1/2 pound of hamburger the next day. I feed the college kids and the 14-year-old at home, so it's okay that I'm doubling this up today. So to my browned ground beef, I'm gonna add this 1 red bell pepper, and this actually makes a 1/2 cup, so 1/4 cup on the recipe for you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and crank up that heat now so that those veggies can get cooked just a few minutes before I add in the tomatoes. Now tomatoes, the canned tomatoes, you're gonna add in with the liquid and all, and let that kind of cook down. That's why we're starting that first. Now to that, I'm also gonna throw in a couple mushrooms. Just a personal preference. I want a little bit meatier, I say meatier. I mean, mushrooms really do take on the flavors of what you've got going on. I'm just gonna do about 3 mushrooms. That's not on the recipe. It's a little bit added veg for you guys on 5-in-1, but it's gonna be delicious. Notice I added just a little bit more of a garlic infused, I think this is my garlic, yeah, garlic infused olive oil. I used a super lean ground beef, so there is absolutely no fat rendered out of that meat, super dry. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil back just to give me some flavor in there and really let those vegetables cook down. If you are on plan and you're really watching those extra healthy fats, just a little splash of water in there would get things steaming together, a little bit more liquid before we add in these tomatoes, okay? So we've got that. Of course, a little salt and pepper wouldn't hurt. We're gonna let that cook. Now, while that's cooking, again, guys, nothing glamorous. This could easily be a weeknight meal, okay? How many of us just grab a pound of hamburger out of the freezer, toss it in the sink, and figure out later, like, okay, I don't know what we're gonna have, but something with that hamburger. This can be your go-to meal. Now next up, once again, we're gonna trick up some vegetables and use them in a different way. I'm gonna show you this zucchini that's gonna kind of create a bottom crust for this pizza casserole. We're gonna take 2 medium-sized zucchinis. In the store right now, different times of year, they kind of change a little bit in size. Of course, when you're at the Brinkley garden in the summer, if we blink twice, they end up being like 3 feet long. So a normal size, you could take a minute, especially from 5-in-1, to actually measure this out. And I believe it's 3.5 cups of zucchini, but I've already done one crust and it's about 2 medium zucchini, so you're in good shape. I'm gonna grade this like this. I don't recommend in this application, I really don't recommend frozen or using zucchini noodles that are out of the freezer. Take a minute. You're actually going to spend less probably buying the zucchini fresh. And I'm going to show you how quick and easy it can be. There is one little step we're going to do, which is why I went ahead and made one ahead of time. Now I hear that sizzling, so I'm going to take a minute, go ahead and add in it would be 1 can, but I'm doubling. So 2 cans of your Italian style diced tomatoes. We just added it in. This is going to be our topping, guys. It already smells delicious. Just gonna stir that through so everything gets coated and can cook down. I'm gonna crank that heat up, kind of to speed that up a little bit for our purposes. But that's gonna cook down. How is everybody? I'm so glad you're here, and it's fun that we're virtual because it seems like in the real world out there, everyone is sick. So thinking and praying for any of our watchers that have been sick or out of work or canceled trips and things like that. I know it's super frustrating. I've been on the phone all morning back and forth with my dental hygienist, who's the sweetest girl in the whole entire world, and all kinds of openings today because so many people are out sick. So, guys, eating healthy, I cannot claim that these recipes will help you with the big C word, but I can tell you that really attacking a healthy lifestyle from every avenue, okay? Not just activity, which we could talk about later, but your diet. Guys, you gotta hit it hard. And this thing is rocking our world, do you not think? So it's time. Like, let's get healthy together. I'm just gonna take a minute and finish grating up this. If you'll notice, I think you can see that. Yep. I am doing this in a bowl with a lined paper towel. And I think in the recipe, it does call for 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And you're gonna see where we're gonna put the salt here in just a second. Zucchini, by nature, tends to be super, I don't know officially the amount percentage-wise that it is water, but it is a lot of water. So some of my biggest failed attempts at, I don't know, quiches or pizza crust or different things that I've used grated zucchini for, even baking it in bread, it's the moisture. Like, you can really mess up your recipe if you're not careful. So I could actually show you this, probably. Can you see that? It's super, super full of water. So what we need to do is draw some of that water out. And one way we're gonna do that is just by adding a little bit of salt in this bowl. I kind of tossed it around so it got all in there. And I've lined it again with the paper towel because I want that to take up as much of the salt as possible. And then I really like using a cup towel. After that is set for about 10 minutes or so, we can wring it out basically, and we'll end up having this really dense chunk of grated zucchini without all the moisture in it. I already put away my paper towel that was soaked from the first batch. But to this, we're gonna add a little bit of egg beaters. It can be egg, it can be 2 eggs. I've chosen today to use 1/3 of a cup of egg beaters in this batch, 1/4 of a cup of just grated Parmesan. Again, I'm waiting because I want this to draw out the moisture. Grated Parmesan. Then this crust also has mozzarella cheese, low-fat mozzarella cheese. Again, remember our secret. Part skim mozzarella is most what you find in the store. Not the fresh version, but any bagged mozzarella is typically going to be part skim. Low moisture, part skim. Okay, so easy breezy to find. So when I claim that, when I say that, don't think, oh, I gotta find all kinds of special things. You don't. That one's very available. Now cheddar, I will tell you, like this little mix of cheddar, that is a harder thing to find as a 2% or a low-fat cheese. We are not looking for fat-free cheese. We want the real deal, but we do want it made with maybe part skim milk. So to these recipes, it's 4 ounces of each. Now I've taken the time to weigh my cheese out just so I could give you a heads up. It's about a cup. 4 ounces is about a cup of cheese. You're going to use half of that amount in the crust before, and you're going to reserve half a cup of both of these cheeses, okay, for after. Now, I really want this to be delicious for myself, so I'm going to put it to the side, but you'll be so proud of me. Y'all feel free to give me some kudos for doing this, but I went ahead and made a crust ahead of time because actually I doubled the recipe. So this is, if you do a single recipe, this is about the size you're going to get. Now I will tell you this too. This is about a 9 by 9, okay? I really wanted to make it in these 2 cute little matching casserole dishes that I have because I was going to keep one for us, maybe share one with someone. But in that size, like more of a loaf size, it's way too thick, okay? I could have probably went a little bit bigger even with this one. Maybe not quite a 9 by 13, but I've kind of pressed it in and let it go up on the edges a little bit. Just look how good this looks already, guys. You're gonna bake it at 400 for about 20 minutes, uncovered, because you want that nice cooked top. Again, that is zucchini, egg, 3 types of cheese in there, mixed up, pressed into the bottom of a sprayed dish. Let me see how this is cooking up. I'm gonna let it go just a few more minutes because I really want some of that moisture to cook out. Turn that up just a little bit. Easy breezy. While we're waiting to top this casserole dish, I'm gonna show you one other pizza hack, okay? Why do I keep going back to pizza and these indulgent, old-fashioned, not so healthy recipes? It's because that's what makes this health journey easier when we can really incorporate it into our normal life and our normal desires to eat this type of food. But I do want to show you a different variation of chicken crust pizza. Now, I've made chicken crust pizza for you guys on Beneath the Surface News Live. I think I've even done like a live version on my Facebook on the Blackstone. I mean, we go way back with chicken crust pizza. Ground chicken, egg, cheeses, wonderful, right? This one's kind of a different version. And again, in the attempt to approach you with a super easy way to cook healthy, we're using canned chicken. This is just 12 ounces of white meat, canned chicken. Again, I would take a minute and look at the labels, different brands. This one's Swanson. I know there's like another, maybe Bumblebee or something. Check the labels. Just make sure you're getting the cleanest, best option you can. And to this, we're gonna do the same type of thing we do. We're gonna add 1/4 cup of Parm grated. Again, Parmesan cheese is naturally kind of a low-fat cheese. And I'm not gonna add I'm gonna add 1 egg to this little version. I'm saving that 1/3 cup of egg beater. Again, off the carton of the egg beaters, it's gonna give you the equivalency of what you need. I believe it's 1/4 cup. No, it's 3 tablespoons equals 1 egg. 2 eggs is 1/3 cup. So you wanna check your carton, whether you're using full fat eggs, these are full 100% just eggs. You could make this even leaner, less fat anyway, good amount of protein by using egg whites, okay? It would still turn out just as good. And to this, we want to add just about 1/4 cup of mozzarella and 1/4 cup of the cheddar. And we're just gonna kind of stir this up. Imagine it kind of like a tuna salad because of the type of the meat. You want to break up that meat. Now, what I read about is that this is going to give us a really strong chicken flavor in the crust. I'll be honest with you. I made a ground chicken crust pizza this last week, and I was disappointed. I know. I don't know why. I was very disappointed in it, and it made me think, you know what? Maybe I want to try this canned chicken version and see, because I do like using fresh normally in my choices, but I thought, you know what? Maybe I need to give that a whirl. And look what we've got here. Now here's the beauty. You guys on 5-in-1, this is your protein, okay? Now, what could you top it with? Now we're gonna use just a little spray. I know this is a stone type, but I still spray them just because, I don't know. I probably washed it and taken away some of the non-stick properties, but we're gonna see if this is too much for this little dish. It could be. We're gonna take a minute and just smooth this out. Oh, it's gonna be perfect. Now, I would venture to say, I haven't done the math for 5-in-1. I will do the math for you if you're interested and you are a client. Then reach out to me for this pizza crust. We'll get it posted soon for the amounts, but I'm believing this is gonna work out because of the protein with the egg and the cheese and the chicken, that we're probably gonna have about 2 servings. This is an ample size serving when we haven't even put topping on it yet. Look at that. Pizza crust made. Guys, your kids would love this. They don't know, like they can't quite figure out. What is this crust? They're not realizing the protein's really in the crust. We could top it with anything from mozzarella and tomato, basil, like a caprese type margarita pizza. But we could also get really creative, roasted broccoli with a little barbecue sauce, sugar-free barbecue sauce. You'd have a chicken broccoli pizza that would be to die for. I'm gonna stick this in the oven and then get, of course I'm gonna put it on my favorite temperature, 400. Okay, this is really starting to cook down, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, look at me, for you people watching, I'm gonna put a pot holder on the cutting board. Anyway, that's in the blooper reel. But we wanna take, it doesn't have to be scientific, we're gonna take half of this portion and put it over our dish here, this crust. Whoops. Again, this is gonna give us the flavor of pizza, but in the convenience of like a casserole for the evening. You could easily, I would think, make this ahead of time. If your time is better spent in the morning, if you have practices and pick up and carpool after school, and nighttime seems busy, then have it ready ahead of time and you'll be good to go. I think that's about half. Ample, guys. This is gonna be super indulgent. I'm gonna throw this one back over here. You'll see I almost really messed up. That stuck. Could have been fun. Could have been like another emergency call to the fire department, but but it wasn't, so there's a victory, right? Okay, so we've got this. Now, the recipe called for 4 ounces of cheese, both of these type of cheeses in both recipes, okay? So half of that cheese, half a cup, was already put in to the crust. The other half a cup, this is half a cup, will go on the top. Now think about what you could do creatively with this. I mean, put your favorites. Like, I guarantee you know what I would love. I should have already had it out. I'll put it on the next one. Is some jalapenos, some pickled jalapenos to cook up here on the top. That would be awesome. Again, if you're not on plan, adding some extra things like olives or whatever your favorite pizza toppings is definitely an option. I don't think I can pick that up yet. But look how simple. And again, like most of the time, I see that I can cut back a little bit on the cheese. I didn't do quite full half cup on each cheese on there, and it's plenty. It's gonna be super indulgent. I can't wait to get this back into the oven, get it melted through again. Everything is cooked. We just want it to kind of solidify a little bit, dry up that meat mixture a little bit, and we're gonna put it back in the oven and we're set to go. That chicken crust pizza also is completely baked other than the egg, so all it needs is about 20 minutes on a 400-degree oven. Use your judgment, watch for toasty brown. Now, things I'm gonna add to that pizza crust is I'm gonna pick a low carb, okay? The lowest carb marinara sauce I can find in the store. You could do fresh tomato, even for the kids, guys, a little added extra turkey pepperoni on top of that with, again, your part skim mozzarella. You've got a great, quick and easy dinner for your family. So I hope both of these recipes kind of make you curious about maybe I could start cooking healthy for my family. I know you could. If you're curious about these recipes or past recipes, be sure you're checking out beneaththesurfacenews.com. She has an amazing blog through that website called The Crumb, and you'll find all of our recipes there. Now, also, you're welcome to go back and check on the archive videos right here on Beneath the Surface News Facebook page and see other recipes. And as always, I welcome you to reach out to me if you're looking for a plan, something to get you motivated to find health in 2022, then let me know. I'd love to help you. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram or right here on Sarah's page. Until I see you next week, be nice.